Hi there, it's Paul from GuestPoint here. I wanted to introduce you to our brand new GuestPoint platform. It's GuestPoint version 10, and GuestPoint version 10 is fully browser-based. And what that means is that you can use it on any device that has a browser. So that could be a touch device like an iPad, or it could be an Apple Mac computer, or it could be a standard Windows desktop computer. Any device, anywhere, because it's using our cloud database as well, which all links to your current version of GuestPoint. So essentially, this is now an additional way that you can access GuestPoint and your property. When you first log in, you'll need to enter your serial number, username, and password. Those are all the current details that you normally would log in with. And once you've entered in your serial number for the first time, GuestPoint, the browser version will remember those details for next time as well, so that you're just having to enter in your password. So just to confirm, it's all the same details that you normally log into. If you are, you might want to use the version 9 GuestPoint Windows application alongside this new browser version, and that's fine. If you make a change in one, it will change the other. If you update your password in one, it will update it on both sides of it all. It's all connected to the same database. So once you log in, this is what you'll see on the screen here. You'll see there's a few changes, mainly that it's been beautified and it's looking fantastic. But the great thing is it's really going to be familiar to you because the structure of GuestPoint hasn't changed at all, but the usability on the screen we have enhanced and improved on. So one of the things that you'll notice straight away is to navigate on GuestPoint, instead of the tabs being on the right-hand side of the screen, we've moved them over to the left-hand screen, and that's going to be really familiar to you. So we've still got our reservations tab, customers, accounts, and management tabs. We have a new tab, which is the reports tab, and don't be scared of the new reports tab. It makes a lot more sense to have a separate reports tab here, we feel. In the previous versions in the Windows application, we had some reports under the accounts tab and some under the management tabs. We've moved those out of there and put them all under reports tab so that it's easy to find. And then of course we have the dashboard. So I'm going to run through some of the differences between the system. So the main thing to note though is everything that was on the reservations tab before is still on the reservations tab now. It just may be in a slightly different location, an improved location. So let's have a quick look. So that with the reservations tab here, you'll note all the familiar items on there. We've got your room numbers and room types. You've got all the colors of your room types that you're familiar with. When a room is reservation is checked in, it's orange with a little green dot. Everything should be feeling very familiar there. Along the dates here, we have our occupancy percentages. If there's any notifications, they will show here as well. I've got an unallocated booking here that I just need to assign a room number to. So that's all should be very familiar to users of the previous versions. We have some buttons along the top here. These buttons are all available in the Windows app, but they were over on the left. We've moved them over to the right based on feedback because it's easier to see. So any unallocated bookings you can view from here. You can search for existing reservations from the search button there. Any bookings that you've just been in today, you can go into from the recent tab there, and you can create a new reservation from here. You can still create a new reservation by double clicking on a blank space as well. Let's load one up for you. Here's the new reservation screen. Now this is going to look really familiar to you. It's still broken up into the same steps. When you scroll down the page, one of the enhancements we've made is you can see which step you're on. As you go down, you can see the highlighting changing. If you filled out part of it and you wanted to go back and check the rates, rather than just scrolling up, you can actually just click on the rates area and it'll take you to that section and then go back to the payment options where you were before. So that's a pretty cool new feature within the new reservation area. Let's look at some of the other changes here. Well, actually, this isn't a change at all. These are all the different view types that's available in the current version. You can jump to any date you want here by selecting the date. You'll be pleased to know you can still click and drag across the page as well. And then you can always jump back to the original date here, today's date. We do have some additional settings under the systems cog here, where you can condense room types to squeeze a few more onto your page if you want to. You can collapse room types. You can turn the color coding off and on. You can turn the events features on and off as well. And when you change any of these, they're user specific. So let's say you don't want color coding anymore and you leave it like that. The next time you log into GuestPoint, that's how it will look for you. Obviously, you can come back and turn it on at any point as well. So that's pretty cool that you can start to customize those areas. Moving down the screen, in the bottom left area, we used to have a today and tomorrow pop up. We've now moved that over to the right. So the today, the tomorrow, the to-do list, and the legend is all over on the right. If you click on today, this is all the information that was available to you before. You can run a status report. You can scroll down and see all of your check-ins. So these are all the arrivals. You can still print an arrivals report from here. You can check in, you can do multiple check-ins. There's lots of different options that you can do. Here's printing your arrival forms as well. So all the options you could do before, you can still do in this version, you'll be pleased to know. Our to-do list is here, works the same way as the previous list. And we've got a legend. Now, this legend is useful to new users. We've kept everything very similar to the previous version so that your staff and yourself don't need additional training. We've enhanced a few areas. So you'll see when a room is dirty, it now shows a red broom rather than a red dot, because we thought that made a little bit clearer. But if you're not sure what any of these icons mean, they're all in the legend area there. If I open up a reservation, I can double click on it. It'll open up the reservation. You'll be pleased to know it's all the same flow that you're used to from the Windows app. It just looks a lot newer and a lot cleaner. Excellent. All right. So that's the reservations. You can drag and drop, you can extend reservations, you can do all of the features that you could do before. You can right click on any reservation and you can still access the express action items like instant check-ins and cancelling and marking as no-show and so forth. So that's the reservations plan. Again, you'll be pleased to know it all looked very familiar to you other than that beautiful new look. So customers tab, we give you an overview tab now, and this will just show you all the details. You could see these details before on the Windows application, but we've now given it its own tab. And in the Windows application, we used to have different folders to highlight your guests, companies, and agents. It was called individuals in the Windows app. We've now called this one guests because they are the guests that are staying in the room. And you can search for all of your guests here and your companies and agents. You can email them all the same functionality that was there before, still here in the new version. The accounts tab, again, we've created the overview tab, and you can see all of the information that used to be summarized for you in the Windows application. So these are your debtors that are outstanding. These are your non-residential accounts and some other statistical data. And then the debtors and the non-residential accounts are here. If you want to go into a debtor, let's go into the booking.com one here. Works the same way that it did before. You can go to your current transactions and you can make payments against them, reverse them off. The same functionality that you're used to, just that nice, clean, new look. So let's have a look at the management area. With management, we've got two areas, daily tasks and setup. There used to be reports in the management area. As I mentioned before, the reports for both the accounts and the management section, remember, have moved to the reports tab. So they're no longer here. But the daily tasks, these are all the daily tasks you'll be familiar with already, like rollover, the housekeeping, management, sending invoices and so forth. They're all here. It all works the same way as before. You'll be able to use those straight away. Now the setup area, so this is where you manage your general property configuration and your rates. This area wasn't quite ready for prime time, so we've disabled it temporarily while we finish off some of the features in there. So if you need to change your rates, or if you need to change any property configuration, you'll still be able to do that in the Windows application, and you'll need to do that in the current Windows application in the meantime. We're aiming for this area to be complete either by the end of April or the very, very early May, and we'll let you know when that's ready. Now, the reports tab is the same as the setup area in that this functionality is not quite ready yet. And again, it will either be the end of April or the start of May that you'll be able to run reports from here. Again, in the meantime, you can run those reports from the Windows application. All the reports that were previously under the Accounts tab will be under the Accounts tab here. And all the reports from the management side of things that were split into transactions, reservations, and customers will be under these tabs. And then we have the dashboard, just like normal. If I go back to this screen where you're familiar, we used to have our email services at the top right. There was a hyperlink. We've now just got a separate area there, so you can see if your emails have been delivered, what's in the queue. Any portals like your online check-in portal are available under this tab. The Help Center, we're going to be updating that shortly with the new screens, but you can access it from here. And the What's New tab, whenever we release a new feature, let's say we make the reports available, we'll let you know in the What's New section. You'll get a notification, then you'll be able to see that new feature. And throughout the year, we're going to be releasing lots of brand new features never before seen in GuestPoint, and we'll be letting you know when we're updating them in that What's New feature. All right, so that is your introduction to GuestPoint version 10 in the browser. Just like always, if you need support when you're using this, you contact our support team in the usual ways. If you want to give us feedback, and we'd love to hear your feedback if you don't like the way something works in the new version, you've got some ideas, anything like that, feel free to email them through to support@guestpoint.com and we'll look at those for you. But I suggest that you jump in, start using this, start enjoying the flexibility of using the browser and have fun with it. It's a beautiful new product, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Thanks.